Have you ever been in the middle of speaking English and your brain just freezes? You know the word, it's right there, but it won't come out. You feel that awkward silence growing, your face gets hot, and you just want the ground to swallow you whole. I've been there so many times. I used to get stuck constantly, forgetting basic words, and the fear of making a mistake paralyzed me. I'd try to speak, and my mind would go completely blank. It was frustrating, and honestly, it was embarrassing. I thought maybe I just wasn't good at languages. I thought maybe I'd never be fluent. For the longest time, I blamed my speaking skills. I practiced pronunciation, I drilled grammar rules, I repeated phrases over and over. But nothing seemed to fix that freezing problem. I'd be talking to someone and my brain would be working overtime, frantically translating every single word from my native language into English. It was like running a marathon while juggling. By the time I had the sentence ready, the moment had passed. I was always one step behind the conversation. Then, one day, it hit me. I was sitting there, feeling defeated after another failed attempt at a simple conversation, and I had this realization. The problem wasn't my mouth. It wasn't my pronunciation or even my grammar. The real bottleneck was my brain. I was trying to speak English, but I was still thinking in my native language. This constant mental translation was slowing me down, making me hesitate, and causing me to forget words. It was like trying to run a super-fast computer program on a really old, slow processor. My brain was the processor, and it needed an upgrade. That was my turning point. I looked at myself and thought, okay, if the problem is my brain, then that's what I need to train. It was a complete shift in my mindset. I stopped focusing on just speaking more and decided to change the very foundation of how I approached English. I decided I was going to train my brain to think directly in English. It felt like a huge, impossible task at first. But I knew that if I could change how I thought, speaking fluently would naturally follow. It was no longer about memorizing phrases. It was about rewiring my internal monologue. So, how did I start? With something incredibly simple. Every single morning, I would stand in front of the mirror for just 5 minutes. That's it. 5 minutes. I'd look at myself and start talking. At first, it felt a little silly talking to my own reflection. But I made it a non-negotiable habit. I would start with simple questions. What are you going to do today? I am going to work. After work, I will go to the gym. What did you eat for breakfast? I had coffee and toast. They were basic, easy questions, but the key was to answer them without translating. I forced my brain to pull the English words directly. It wasn't about being perfect. It was about building the muscle of thinking in English first thing in the morning. After mastering the mirror practice, I took it a step further. I decided to make my entire day an English thinking exercise. I started narrating my life in my head, silently, in English. When I was walking to the bus stop, I'd think, I am walking down the street. The sun is shining. That car is red. While doing chores, I'd describe my actions. I am washing the dishes. This plate is dirty. I need more soap. On the bus, instead of scrolling on my phone, I'd look out the window and describe what I saw. There is a woman walking her dog. The dog is small and brown. They are crossing the street. It became a constant, silent game I played with myself. Every free moment, every mundane task became an opportunity to practice thinking in English. I have to be honest, it was really awkward at the beginning. My internal narration was slow, clunky, and full of mistakes. Sometimes I wouldn't know a word and my mental sentence would just stop mid-thought. I'd think, I'm making a cup of tea and I need the UH. You know, the thing you put the tea in. I'd laugh at myself, look up the word teapot later, and then continue. There were so many moments where I felt silly, but the key was that I didn't stop. I accepted that it would be imperfect. I gave myself permission to be a beginner. Persistence was everything. I knew that every clumsy mental sentence was one step closer to fluency, and then, slowly but surely, something amazing started to happen. The silent narration in my head got faster. It became more natural, less of a conscious effort. One day I was in a conversation and I realized I wasn't translating anymore. Someone asked me a question and the answer just came out in English. My brain had skipped the translation step entirely. It was thinking directly in English. That was the moment I knew it was working. The freezing stopped. The hesitation disappeared. Speaking became less of a performance and more of a natural expression of my thoughts. My brain had adapted. It had built new neural pathways. So, if you're struggling with freezing up or feeling slow when you speak English, remember this: the problem might not be your speaking skills, but your thinking process. You can change that. It all starts with small, consistent habits. Don't try to change everything overnight. Just start small. Train your brain, and your speaking will follow. You have the ability to rewire the way you think, and that is the true key to unlocking fluency. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. I'm really curious to know what you think. Which of these habits feels like something you could start doing today? The 5-minute mirror practice, or narrating your day in your head? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your own language learning journey. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more tips on learning English. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.